Jesus. Alright, so, welcome to Terraria. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Server's being a little wonky. We're currently doing the frost move. Okay, Logan, reset the time. We're currently on the final wave. We are cheating, we don't care. But I came here because I wanted to inform you about, something that I was thinking up of. It's a movie idea. And if I forget about it, this video will serve as a reminder. I guess in modern times, two assholes with dark... son of a bitch. With dark magical abilities break into the North Pole using dark magics to find it and destroy it. Well, destroy part of the North Pole. They kill elves. They destroy elves. They destroy machinery. They basically fuck everything up. And so Santa, who's horribly wounded, sits and watches as these guys essentially have their way with his wife. Dark as that sounds, it's necessary to the plot. What we have is Santa, very rapey, is Santa sort of coming to terms with the fact that everything is fucked up. Christmas is essentially ruined, just by the way everything else, because they stole Santa's sleigh and destroyed it. They also stole Santa's magical bag of toys. Without it, Santa can't possibly get all the toys in one trip, so Christmas is over. Santa does something he hasn't done since the mid-1930s. He calls upon a friend of his, Krumpus. Now, if you remember, Krumpus is Santa's little bastard. He's a guy who beats up Santa, but in a plot twist, Santa and Krumpus were originally childhood friends in fucking Byzantium, Rome. So, Greece. And Saint Nick was a good guy, and he gave presents, and he got Mrs. Claus to fall in love with him. Well, Krumpus was an asshole and a miser, and just to, like, top that off, he's also a Roman tax collector. And in some twist of fate that needs to be developed, Santa becomes, the spirit of giving, essentially, because angels give it to him, or whatever. Hand-waving. But Krumpus, because of his negativity, his hatred, and even his jealousy of Santa, is turned into basically a monster, cursed forever to punish children. But since, society's developed, society punishes children. It's no longer up to some phony spirit to do this. So Krumpus is locked away, essentially like Hannibal Lecter style, under the North Pole. So Santa basically is like, we have to wake him up, and the elves are like, no, don't wake him up, like, he's evil. Like, he's like, he may be evil, but he's the only one who can deal with this. And Krumpus is like the monster Krumpus, the goat creature. Krumpus is like, oh, yes. I knew, like, he's completely, like, he's not like a dick. He completely understands why Santa locked him up. He's completely self-hating. But he's like, oh, Mrs. Claus is dead. And it hits a chord for him because he secretly loved Mrs. Claus. And he's like, okay, we'll get vengeance. So he, like, resurrects Mrs. Claus as, like, this badass spirit of ice, a la Ice Queen. Makes these tank things. Basically turns everything Christmassy into a weapon. Then tracks them down in, like, the wastes of, the North Pole. All in one night, mind you. And on Christmas morning, Krumpus does battle with the two bad guys, interspersed with backstory and plot about Krumpus' life. And one of them is like completely badass, like has pyro magic and some shit. Another one is like completely devoted to not Satan, but Cthulhu, using like elder magic, black rites hallowed in the seasons beyond humanity and time. And in the end, one of them has like a seed of Cthulhu inside of him. It awakens. Krumpus is like ensnared by it, and he's like, "No, I'm the spirit. Like I have to be this bad guy. Like you don't understand my torment." Like that's in his head, and we see like the final memory is like the night before he becomes Krumpus. He basically tries to reform his ways. Like he's like, you know what? Tonight I'm gonna do what Nick does. I'm gonna be giving. I'm gonna be caring. And I'm going to be helpful, and it's going to be nice. And he's going to go tell about Mrs. Claus about his thing. And essentially, we then see the angel giving Santa his powers. And lo and behold, the angel doesn't understand because he hasn't done the acting. He's just promising. So we get like the pathos from Krumpus. This is all one big movie expression. I know this is a little disjointed of a video. I'm not even talking about what's going on, but just hear me out. This is gonna be a great movie. The novel ends with, or the movie ends with Krumpus biting into the Elder Seed, killing it supposedly, and him walking off into like the North Pole to parts unknown, supposedly killing everything. You know, the Ice Queen is dead, all the Santa bots are destroyed, all the elf zombies have been killed. You know, Krumpus has saved Christmas. Well, he's got the toy bag back. At least he thinks he does, because the I keep saying novel. The book ends, or movie ends. Whatever media device we decide to put this ends with, book turned movie. Yeah, exactly. It starts out as a badass novelization, and then they make a movie, and it's only like 40% of like the evisceration. Like Mrs. Claus isn't really raped. So that's the first book. Movie. It's the first movie. Yo, in the rape, bro. Yeah. But it would end with like, you know, like the vendor style teaser. Like the teaser at the end is the image as it like slowly zooms in on the hand of the guy who had the elder thing inside of him, and he opens his hand and there's like a big eye and it starts looking around. And that's the end of Krumpus Rising. Very first in a line of book movies written by me and Logan. I hope you enjoyed this synopsis, and I hope that if you make this movie, please credit us. Give us money, because we desperately need money.
Broke college people.
Alright. Bye, everybody. Remember, Krumpus is watching with whips.